Hi, this is Nick Westergaard. I just finished my workshop, Social Media Marketing 201, Implementation and Impact. It was a great conversation about how you can take social media to the next level, your business or organization. I've put together a few highlights if you want to have a look. Thanks.
Now, a favorite quote of mine on implementation is that failing to plan is planning to fail. Simply put, for social media, like all things, you need a blueprint. And I think when you're putting together any marketing plan or marketing action plan, as we call them, we come up with the basics, and that's really the who, the what, and sometimes the where and the how. So with social media, a big thing that we need to consider is the who. Both who are we talking to in terms of our customers, or if it's prospects, or if it's leads, whatever the who is, who we're talking to. When you talk about branding, that's kind of an offshoot of this that I think applies especially to social media, is using it as a space to establish thought leadership. Now, I think this applies especially for service businesses, where you're trying to prove that you have a special skill set, a special knowledge, a special understanding of something. Social media is a great place to periodically demonstrate that in ways that running some traditional ads isn't always as effective. But I like putting this in here because the day I took this screenshot, I captured what I think is a great customer interaction. And you can see here someone's had a bad experience there, and this is Poncheros actually getting back to them. Sorry you had a bad visit. Can you DM, direct message me details about location, time, etc., so I can look into it and make sure it doesn't repeat. And I say that this is a great slide, not because I wish them ill and I hope that they have bad customer experiences, but because I think that this demonstrates an opportunity. And to the point earlier about you don't really have a choice if your brand's involved in social media, this person was probably going to complain about Poncheros on social media to their network of followers anyways. And this allows Poncheros the opportunity to actually bring them back into the fold and work on mitigating a negative customer experience. You know, there's always the adage about if someone has a bad customer experience that they're going to go tell 10 people, and this social media can magnify that. But maybe if a brand is responsive enough and gets in front of something, it takes some of the edge off of that negative experience for them. There's a great metric that about 12 to 1. You should be talking about other people's stuff 12 times for every one time you get something out there about you. Use of hashtags. Using URL shorteners, kind of a no-brainer. Most Twitter clients have those built in there. And figuring out who you are. If you're a personal brand and it's a person that they're interacting with, or if it's a logo, which is a little thing but kind of a big thing. You know, a lot of times that avatar that's talking to you on Twitter is what the brand is, and sometimes if it's a person, it's a lot more of a personal connection versus a logo. So that's why you see folks with a hybrid solution like Poncheros, where they have a logo and a person's face on there too. So putting all of this together, when you talk about who you're wanting to talk to and what some of your goals are for social media, you need to kind of aggregate this together into a plan. And I always think it's best to have a plan. Plan is sometimes a spooky thing. Some people overwrite a plan to avoid being finished with the plan. But I don't think that a plan even has to be that long. And truthfully, it can be as simple as some of these next couple slides that we're looking at. Talking about impact, there's that great Peter Drucker quote of, you can't manage what you don't measure. But I think a key part of that, why you have to talk about implementing and planning first, you need to know what you're doing to know what you're going to measure and what you're going to have an impact on. Because at the end of the day, all efforts, you know, they're nice. New media is a lot of fun to talk about, but as we start to evolve in the space, we're talking a lot more about ROI and what the return that people are getting are. And I think that there's two things to point out here, and there's quantitative information and there's qualitative information. Quantitative being numbers, anything that you can measure, impressions, clicks, number of fans, number of followers, and there's also qualitative. Hey, we had 100 retweets, that's great, but 75% of them were negative and 25% were positive. So that gives you some qualitative insights on something you need to address. And to kind of bookend Mr. Drucker with Mr. Einstein, everything that can be counted does not necessarily count, and everything that counts cannot necessarily be counted. So I think one thing with new media especially, there's a lot of numbers, and being sure to find ones that are important, that are meaningful, and that are impactful to your brand. Since blogging is basically a website, there's lots of metrics that you can get at for website traffic, unique visitors, click-through rate. Blogging's a little bit different because you can see the number of comments. Bounce rate, how many people bailed out right after they got there. Average time spent on posts is key. That's also key when you're looking at your blog length and how long your posts are. Facebook, again, with insights, you have a lot of different metrics that you're given. Fans, likes, impressions, monthly active users. They're great because they also kick out a report to page admins that summarizes a lot of that as well. Fan demographics, views, clicks. Twitter, you see the total number of followers, total number of times you make someone's list. They've come out with listing. Reply ratio. Profile views, total number of retweets, number of clicks per tweet. So again, that's where a tool like Hootsuite becomes very valuable as well. YouTube, video views, total channel subscribers, number of likes, number of comments, number of responses, popularity of your videos compared to the others. Don't fear negative interactions. I think this merits being pulled out because so many are timid about the space because of the negative interactions. And I think it presents a huge opportunity because I think more and more as, to get back to the early point where there's a potential, if managed incorrectly, to have a negative impact on your brand in the space. Since social media, I think, is really it's really taken a lot of the BS out of the customer experience. We're living in an era where consumers are more informed than they ever have been. In the car business, they're showing up on the lot, knowing what the dealer pays for the car, knowing the MPG, they've researched it. There's really not a whole lot that the person there can tell them. So it's become a very different experience. So people are looking for brands that have humanity. And social media is a perfect tool for expressing this.